Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack complex ideas and hopefully find some surprising insights.
Yeah.
Today, we are starting something really foundational. We're diving into, well, one of humanity's most profound philosophical texts, the Bhagavad Gita.
That's right. And not the whole thing just yet, but focusing intensely on the very beginning.
Exactly. The very first verse, you might think, what can one sentence really hold? But believe me, it's packed. It sets the stage for absolutely everything that follows. So for this deep dive, we've been looking closely at part tartan afterwolden kanartan the ancient time. Our mission, really, is to unravel the meaning, the implications, just woven into that single opening question from this ancient text. It's amazing how much is in there.
It really is. And to set the scene for you listening, we are right at the start of the Gita. We're on the battlefield, Kurukshetra. The tension is, well, it's immense.
Okay.
And we have King Dhritarashtra. He's blind, physically, but the text also subtly suggests perhaps metaphorically blind, too.
Oh. He's talking to his charioteer, Sanjaya, and his very first question is, what sparks the entire dialogue that becomes the Gita?
So let's get to that exact question. Shlok 1, the very first verse, he asks,
Inchora, Ingantona, permitted ki hiking kind of vivalga inchuna kara, aking kind of sadness we experiences, which a tanya Korean salempos toila, Achipola, but omire kusa hasnal kana kusasa, Bokingena, Pokin Bandaha, O Kingila, Pokindala, Moko Pasaya, Mogama Sagesa, Mako Vetonada, Mako Verta. Naku vadlaledra naku vadelanya nutta ho vinda o thindara, which translates to O Sanjaya, when my sons Kauravas and Pandu's sons Pandavas gathered on the land of Dharma, Kurukshetra, eager for battle, what did they do? That's it, the opening line.
And right away, something really jumps out, something our source highlights. It's Dhritarashtra's specific word choice.
Dharma-Kshetra. Dharma-Kshetra, meaning
the land of righteousness or the field of Dharma. This isn't just any old battlefield you see. It has this huge moral significance.
And it sort of suggests that Dhritarashtra, maybe deep down, already gets that this isn't just a fight over a kingdom. It's fundamentally about righteousness versus unrighteousness, dharma versus adharma.
Right. But wait, if he knows that, why would he? I mean, he wants his own sons to win, doesn't he?
Exactly. That's the question, isn't it? Why acknowledge the sacred nature, the moral stakes of the ground, when you're so invested in your own side winning? It hints at an internal conflict, maybe.
Huh. And there's more, isn't there? Something else the source points out about his language right at the start.
Yes, absolutely. It's his bias. It's almost immediately apparent. He calls his own sons, my son.
My sons, okay.
But then the Pandavas, he just calls them Atsandu's sons.
Not my nephews or our family.
Nope, just Pandu's sons. And remember, the Pandavas are his brother's sons. They are family. But he makes this very clear separation linguistically. Right there, line 1.
Wow, okay. My sons versus Pandu's sons. That distinction feels heavy. What does that tell us? How does that set things up?
It tells us a lot about his mindset, his partiality. And if you connect these things to Dharma-Kshetra awareness, this bias a source really emphasizes that this opening shlok is deeply symbolic.
Symbolic of what, specifically?
Well, it's not just about the external war about to happen on the field. It represents, or rather, it initiates the idea of the internal battle.
The internal battle.
Yes. The source frames it as the universal struggle of dharma versus adharma within human beings, within us all. So the external conflict immediately mirrors something profoundly internal.
So that first question, what do they do, isn't just about troop movements.
Not at all. It kicks off this immense philosophical and spiritual exploration of our own inner struggles, our choices, our own internal Kurukshetras, if you will.
That's quite a shift from a literal battlefield to the landscape inside ourselves. Okay, so I guess in this deep dive, we'll keep exploring how Dhritarashtra's, his very personal worry and this loaded question, how that becomes the spark for one of the most profound dialogues ever recorded. What an opening. So just wrapping up our first look at this verse, it's honestly amazing how much depth we've found already, just in the first line of the Bhagavad Gita.
It is pretty remarkable.
Dhritarashtra's question to Sanjaya, it seems simple. What did they do? But it's just loaded, isn't it?
Absolutely. It shows his bias straight away, my sons versus Pandu's sons, and also that that underlying awareness that this is happening on Isukana, the field of righteousness. He knows the stakes are moral.
Yeah, even if he doesn't want to fully admit it, maybe.
Perhaps. And the source really drives home the point that this question isn't just about, the Kauravas and Pandavas on that specific day. It truly initiates the entire dialogue of the Gita by symbolizing that universal, ongoing, internal battle of Dharma versus the Dharma within humans. It sets the stage for everything.
There's a real elegance to that, I think. Starting this huge text about Dharma, about right living with a question that's so personal, so rooted in anxiety and bias, but that instantly connects to something universal. You feel his conflict, and it makes you think about your own.
And that connection leads perfectly into a final thought, sort of building on that idea of the internal battle. We see Dhritarashtra facing his Balsad on the battlefield, wrestling with what's happening. But the challenge for you, for all of us listening, is maybe to consider, where is your Dharma-Kshetra?
Our Dharma-Kshetra.
Yeah. Where in your life are those moments, those situations, maybe even internal thoughts, where you have to discern between what feels right and what feels wrong, between your own dharma and adharma. And importantly, how do you respond when you recognize you're on that ground?
That's a challenging thought. Thinking of our own lives as potential fields of dharma, does every choice become a kind of battle then? Something to reflect on. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope you'll keep that curiosity going and join us again as we explore more complex ideas.